today is the 18th of June, it's Father's Day, and here we are at a very unexpected location. This is Peter Green Furniture and Flooring here in Chandler's Ford in Hampshire, but they're having a car show which I was asked to participate in. Now, because there's a live band playing, I'm going to probably go and have a look in the back car park there first, to get away from the copyright fairy who's been following me for about a week and was responsible for me getting demonetised on the Nostalgia Show video and one of the Bromley Pageant videos. So we'll be probably filming the bit in there a little bit later, but we're probably far away enough now to escape the copyright fairy and have a look at this JBA. This is from the late 70s, I think, 77, 78 plate. Mark 1 Granada door handles, probably, loads of little Ford bits in here. Spot the switch gear. Some of these things are out of British Leyland Jaguars and all sorts of things like that. Some of you can tell that's a Triumph Dash, I think, actually. Sort of multi-function sort of instrumentation there. Volkswagen Beetle rear lights, 2 litre, probably a Pinto, something like that. So all sorts of bits in here, and of course the interior door handles for the Morris Marina and the LDV vans and all sorts of things. That is just extraordinary. Twin fuel tanks as well. Yes, what more is it that you want? It's maybe a little bit too garish for me, but yes, we'll have some other delights which are in there, and we'll go in there when they're actually not playing music. That'll probably be the best idea. So here we are, evading the copyright fairy at the back of the building, and ooh, yes, please viewers, got some tasty treats here. Modified Mark II Escort. This is a 1.6 Sport. I don't know if it's a real one or not. Who knows? Essex plate. Actually, no, sorry, Brighton plate. This VW is an Essex plate. I thought originally, but that might have been a Ford factory plate or something, but WV is actually Brighton, so no. 79 to 80 plate. I don't know about these rear lights, maybe not my taste particularly. The colour's good, like this colour. There's been a lot of sort of work. You can see the bodywork actually looks a lot better actually on the video than it does in real life. It's not one of these pristine ones. Someone's put a Type 9 gearbox in here as well from the Sierra, so, or a Mark II Granada, actually, they also had those. So I think with this one we've probably got a different engine in here and stuff like that. It's possible to say, really. What I do know though is that this 1982 Ford Cortina 1.6 GL belongs to Michael, who is the chairman of the Test Valley Motor Enthusiasts. I'm hoping at some point that Michael will let me have a go in this, because I've been looking forward to it for some time. For some reason he couldn't get into the show. There just weren't enough spaces to actually get everybody in the front, so he's at the back. A lot of you are probably already getting very, very nostalgic. I mean, it is Father's Day, and a lot of fathers and grandfathers and uncles and whatever get very nostalgic for cars like this, and I'm not surprised at all, because I remember these from my youth as well. This car is almost the same age as I am. It's a little bit older, like maybe a year or something, but not too far off. Also got a Fiat Cinquecento. This is quite a late Cinquecento, 1997, 1998 registration. These decals on the side are not original or anything like that, but they are sort of quite period, I think. And this is a base model as well. It's an S. This is before they even put the airbags in these, which I think was right at the end. They started fitting the airbags for Cinquecento, and the Seicento came out, I think, on an S plate in 1998. Maybe there were some R's as well, but I think it was on an S. A very similar car underneath, actually, the Cinquecento and Seicento. I've not driven a Cinquecento, but I have driven a Seicento, and the pedal box was interesting. Personally, I find this Toyota Aventus quite exciting as well. It's a very early one. I think it came out in 1998, and this is a 98 plate, actually. This I think it's a 2-litre GLS, this one. It's still got its original hubcaps on it as well. I mean, this is the sort of thing that I like very, very much. I think it's similar to the Carina E that became before that. I've always thought that. I don't know if the platform is the same, but there are just a lot of sort of general similarities with this, which make me think they, one is based on the other or something, but I wouldn't be sure. What I'm more sure about is this very, very nice Alfa Romeo 916 Spider. Personal plate on this is the 2-litre twin spark, so it's before 2003. I imagine this is first facelift one. There it is, it was a little appealing face looking at me and sort of wanting me to drive it. It doesn't belong to me, so I won't. Well, I have driven one of these already. It was a 2-litre JTS, which was the sort of final facelift one, which came out in 2003. Very, very pretty car. Viewers, I think we're tickling that sort of nostalgia itch again here with this Mark IV Escort RS Turbo. Now the etched window says it's on an E registration. Obviously this is now on a personal plate. I suspect it's sort of 87, 88, something like this. Kind of a sort of 90s style modifications. We've got these wheels and also got some aftermarket gauges in the middle. I can't really see actually. Sort of half see them there. It's difficult to get an angle on them. But we've got the bonnet vents, everything like that. If I just walk around the front without tripping over. There we go. Maybe if we come around the other side, we'll maybe get a view of those gauges in the middle, which is, it's very sort of, 1990s, isn't it, to sort of do stuff like that to your Mark IV Escort. But that is special. Of course, it's white. Most of them were. There were a couple that made in different colours, but not many. Jaguar XK150 is just leaving. Sounds very nice. Weirdly, that has a much later registration date than I would have expected. But there's the same with a lot of these cars in here. Oh, viewers, a Fiesta RS Turbo. Hello to plain_lazy_5 on Instagram. Good old Ronald alloy wheels. I don't think those clear indicators on the front would be original. I think those are a sort of later addition to the car, but that still looks really good. Yeah, loads of sort of early 90s hot hatches here for some reason today. (1958) MG ZB Magnet, one of the very last of the ZBs. Discontinued in December. This car dates from sort of middle of the year. Right, viewers. Afraid some of the cars from here already left. It's before noon, and the show only opened at 10:30. But some video already left. We have missed some of the cars that were here, including the Jaguar E-Type. You would have seen in the thumbnail, which has just left. We better get on with this. Somebody's just offered to buy my Volvo. I'm afraid his very kind offer has been turned down because I've only had this car for about 2 months and I don't really want to sell it at the moment. But there we go. I've got a phone number in case I do decide that I want to, which is unlikely at the moment. There we go. 1995 Pontiac Firebird. Now this car comes up as something like a 2007 on certain reg check sites, but it is actually in 1995, or it could be in 96 actually, because it's built in 95. The American model year start, I think, in the summer, so that would make sense. Very, very sort of typical kind of 1990s American interior. Look at all this kind of General Motors plastic. Someone's very sensibly put a little mat on the dashboard to stop that cracking in the sun. I don't want to touch the car, but I have an impression that some of these might be sort of fiberglass or something, or whatever. I could be wrong about that, but it just sort of feels a bit sort of plastic. But that's part of the charm of cars like this, actually. So better get on with this whilst this band that's playing in the background is on pause. So a Thames van based on the side valve Ford Anglia and Ford Prefect from the 1950s. I don't know exactly what year this is. I'd say mid to late 50s. I don't know if this still has the original side valve in it. It might do. Look at that period map it's got in it. And then I imagine this actually is a company that's actually it's operating, because that's a post 1995 area code and it looks new, so that's nice to see, isn't it? Then we've got a couple of Audi R8s. This is the newer generation one. I haven't done a reg check on this, so I don't know what year this is. This one's a 2011. I think I'm actually driving one of these on a track day next month. I've already booked that. That should be fun. I think it's this generation. Also V10 as well. Ooh, it's got the Lamborghini engine. I've actually got a normal handbrake and a 6-speed manual in this. Wow, that's pretty good, isn't it? Fantastic. Headlamp switches out of a Golf. That's quite funny. The adjustable rear spoiler is up and things like that. Just for the sake of comparison, we're not really into supercars and things on this channel, but we'll take a look at this more modern one. Again, a V10. Colour's pretty good, actually. I think it suits this car really, really well. There's the fuel filler up there. This one's got an automatic gearbox. I can't remember if you can get a manual one of these still. Somebody in the comment section below no doubt can tell me that. And of course, it wouldn't be a classic car show without a splitty. This one, I don't know where this is from. It's been re-registered at some point, isn't it? A typical kind of continuation plate on this. But probably American import, I would say. Nice comfortable place to spend the afternoon. Maybe they do a Volkswagen-inspired collection in the Peter Green Furniture Showroom. This Mini Sprite, Mark 6 Mini, this is actually registered just up the road from here, also in Chandler's Ford. I can't remember where Raoul's garage actually was, where this was actually kind of registered. I'm not sure. We go round here. One thing about being here is it's a little bit on the cramped side for sort of a show, but it's okay. I've seen this before at the Concord Classics show actually a couple of times, and it's only got less than 8,000 miles on the clock. It's just like the owner of my Volvo. The previous owner was 92. So it's been in the family since 1997.
I like it.
That is looking really nice. And original interior and everything like that is correct for the Mark 6 Mini. Mark 7 was the very latest one. There we go. I imagine actually that's when the car was sold in 1997, because if you look at the number plate, local plate to the area, of course, CR, Southampton. It just says 0703, so it's a pre-1995 plate, and there's the Raoul's of Chandler's Ford emblem there as well. Definitely sort of getting a bit nostalgic here, the is. 1990 to 1991, so same age as my Volvo, Mark II Golf GTI 16 valve big bumper. Probably increasing in value with every second it sits here. Nice wheels actually on this. I don't think they're standard. I think they're sort of upgrade or something. They're diamond cut, and like the ones on my Sanyong. Those wheels are sort of well, how do I put this? They're already sort of delacquering and things. I've seen this Spitfire before. I think it was at the Pride and Joy event up at the Army Flying Museum, Middle Wallop, at the end of last year. I saw this. I think so. 72, 73 Spitfire Mark IV. This has got the 1296cc engine in it. And as Mr. Bill from the Fuel Power channel says, This could be yours because it's for sale. 07760 206 769. Actually quite handy. I'm not going to touch the car, I'm just going to touch this information sheet up here. There we go. Some cars do have information sheets on, which is helpful. So this is an EJ9 Civic, 1998. It only has 90 horsepower. That'll actually just still have the 1.4 D series in it. Although the valve cover's obviously been repainted, it's got a strut brace and things like that. I've actually driven one of these with this engine before, and they drive really, really nicely. Obviously this is kind of max power inspired. Another Honda here. This one is a bit modified. It's got the F22B engine, and it's a Mark 6 Accord. This is the generation on from the one that was based on the Row 600, or the other way around. Sort of late 90s, I think. It's a pre-facelift, so yeah, 98, something like that, maybe 99. Next generation on Accord is this one. This is, I think, a Japanese import actually. It's a 2005 CL7 Euro R. There we go, import only model. K20A high compression VTEC, the same engine under the Civic Type R. Full spoon race exhaust, heat wrap, etc., etc. All fitted John's Garage, which is local to here. MG Midget. This I think is a Mark 3 still. Right, let's not lose my sunglasses viewers. I might need those later on. I think I've seen this before somewhere as well. I can't remember where. Certainly somewhere. I think this interior colour's like lime flower or something. It's a very popular kind of BL colour back in the day. I'm just going to sort of guess and say this is probably 73, but it could be a 74. And then something else from the British Leyland stable that was conceived in the 60s and yet kept going to the 70s. 1970 Wolseley 1660. That has not been owned by the present owner very long. Bought it last year. I mean, this is in exceptional condition. It's absolutely perfect. Really, really nice. I don't know how much these are worth, to be honest. Now, sorry, autofocus, don't do that. My suspicion is they're not actually as valuable as you think something like this is. I think it's because there's still quite a few of them around or something. A lot of them went banger racing and things like that and rusted away, but there are some around. But Wolseley's Red Red, it's just really nice, isn't it? Isn't that wonderful? Some of you will get very nostalgic now. I'm sure some of you prefer something a bit more powerful, and we've got this Skyline here. I don't know if this is actually a GTR. It just says GT on it. It could be the lesser model. R33 generation, this one. 1993, 1994 registration, import. As always with these Skylines, the interior is not the sort of most exciting thing. I think that blue panel's probably aftermarket, so is the radio. So GTR rear spoiler. Yeah, it looks purposeful enough. It's a classic colour for you, isn't it, this blue? Then we go on to this Mustang. It's on a G. Just move back here. There we go. 68, 69 registration. I think this is painted with Hammerite or something like that. Automatic gearbox. We've got a V8 in here. Yes, we have. Of course, we have. Fluid leak, I'm not sure where that's coming from. Fortunately, I don't think I'm leaking too much fluid today. We've got an oil leak somewhere in the Volvo, but it's very normal for 460s and 440s, so never mind. Chevy Camaro, 1970-71 registration. It's the Rally Sport 350. I think it's 350 cubic inch V8 in this. There we go. And then Porsche 911. This thing had real problems starting earlier today. Just had to move forward. It was a bit of a problem. don't know if this is the original graphics and stuff on here. It's an SC. I don't think it would have looked quite like this in the factory. I think it's been painted in this kind of golf racing colour with the sort of orange wheels and things. It looks pretty good. It looks fine. But it is probably, I don't know, but back in the day, this generation of 911 wasn't the most sort of desirable. I imagine it's probably quite valuable today though. So we get to move on now. I think this is a 991 911. Registration's a personal one. That's really kind of, you know, nothing to do with it really. No, we haven't quite got the seven-speed gearbox in it. We've only got the 6-speed in that. And then we've got something very unusual here. This is this BMW Z3, but it's actually not a BMW Z3. It's like a one-off special that's been made by a chap who actually is here with it. It's called the Z300S Barchetta. It's based on the Z3 with a 2.8 litre straight six engine, but it's got kind of, I think, Maserati inspired front end and then a rear end. The lights, I think, are probably older than the car is at the front. And I think it's for sale as well. We'll have a look at the phone number again a little bit later on. But yeah, you know, custom bodywork. It's been done pretty well actually, I think anyway. But you can see in here it does have the Z3 interior still. There we go. Ring Nick on 07947 583 585. This could be yours. And then we get on to this. This I think the owners describe this as an MGTDC Hensford plate. It's a very late. TD, it's registered in 1953. It's exported to South Africa in 52 for sale in Rhodesia or Zimbabwe in 1953. It came back over here around kind of 11-12 years ago. Registration on this, which is actually this one, you can, if you're one of these people who knows about registration numbers, you'll see that that is actually a continuation plate. It's not an original one for the car. You'll see it registered in 2011 or something like that, but it's a 53. TDC, I think, stands for TD Competition, from what I understand. Now, this is one of my favourite. This is one of my favourite cars, but it's actually here. It's still got the original dealer sticker on it. This is a 1981 Vauxhall Cavalier sports hatch 1600 GL. Wonderful period colour, very, very sort of reminiscent of the sort of early 1980s. In fact, the Mark 1 Astra that I drove at Great British Car Show in 2021 was this colour. Very, very similar to Opel Manta B. Very sort of older style interior, very sort of 70s. Check seats sort of remind me of Ford Capri, which of course at the time was the main rival to this car. I think though that this looks absolutely brilliant. It's so rare. Oh, and look, there's a Cavalier Club that's advertised for sale. But I think we need to look at this Subaru Legacy, which is just leaving. Look at this. 1991 Subaru Legacy, one of the very first ones. It states the 2.2 GX. In some ways, I can't decide whether this Subaru or that Cavalier sports hatch are my favourite car here. It's either one of those two. Amazing. Right, we'll go over here and have a look at this Hillman Hunter estate. It's a deluxe. I think it's a 72, this. It's been modified to some extent. It's got a much lower ride height than it would originally have had, and also it's got some different wheels on it, but it looks very sort of period modified actually. Yeah, 72. 0 to 60 miles an hour in 40 seconds. Fantastic. Very, very rare. Another car like that red Mini that I see an awful lot about is this 2004 Mazda RX-8. It's quite an early one. I think this came out in 2002. I have driven one of these, a much later one, 2009 I think it was, something like that. It could even be later. But this is the original variant. I can't remember if this is the high performance one. Yeah, it is. It's a 231. And then, how could we have a classic car show without a Ford Capri? This is actually the top of the range one, in terms of luxuries. It was available for the Mark 1s, the 3000E automatic. Look at this interior. It's delicious, isn't it? More sort of brown and orange and just lovely. And the colour for me is even better. I love this dark green colour. 138 horsepower from that SX V6, 0 to 68.8 seconds. And then, yes, so another rival to it, MGB GT V8. The colour, I think this is Sand Glow or something like that, from memory. They came out in 73, these V8s, and so I think it could be a 73 or a 74. If there's an information sheet that will tell me, but I don't think there actually is. G73 tax disc, so yes, it's 73. It's a very early one of these. Look at those interior door handles. That's off everything in the 70s from British Leyland, and even something before that actually. 1935. Austin 12.4 Ascot Saloon. We actually saw this yesterday at the Nostalgia Show. 0 to 60, you must be joking. Covered spare wheel, synchro mesh on 3rd and 4th. There we go. Yes, it was owned by the Paymaster Rear Admiral originally. Who bought this. Well, we've got some more stuff coming in here. Another one of these 911, another GT3 RS. Don't know what year that is. Got some more classics here as well. This is a very unusual thing. I'm not even sure Mercedes ever sold these over here. This is a 1967 Mercedes-Benz 319 van. I don't think I've ever seen one of these before actually. They are pretty rare. Move all the way back over here to actually get this thing in. But that looks very comfy now, doesn't it? Just hiding around there in the afternoon, that looks comfy. Another Austin 7 here. Sorry, not another Austin, not the other one's on the 7. Another Austin here, 1936 Austin 7. I'm going to say this is probably a Ruby or something like that, but I could be wrong. It's definitely one of the later facelifted ones. Would have come in the early to mid 30s. 1964 Triumph Herald 1200 Saloon. It's not the kind of sort of concourse example, but I quite like it like this. When I was sort of younger, you saw Heralds. A lot of them did look like this. There's a better view of that Escort Sport from earlier. And then we'll have a look at some other tasty treats that have just arrived. Golf Mark III convertible, 1994 to 1995 registration. Right, we better speed up here, viewers, otherwise we'll get the copyright fairy after me again. The earlier ones of these actually had different instruments, the font was different on them. So this will be one of the slightly later ones. Very blue interior, very 90s for blue interior like that. Another one of these Golf GTI 16 valves. This is a 3-door, again, H plate, 1990-1991, BBS alloy wheels. I think these are the correct seats as well, even that gear knob's maybe not correct, but they've got correct seats. Look at that sort of later Mark II dash. It's just so typical kind of 80s Volkswagen, although this is a 90s car. The main rival, of course, really, in many markets for this car was the Ford Escort. And here we've got a very shiny example of one. 1988 to 89 on an F with a Recaro interior. The question is this an XR3i or an RS Turbo? It says RS Turbo on it, so okay, we'll go with that. We've got some sort of larger wheels on it and things like that. But I really want to drive a Mark IV Escort. I've driven a Mark III Escort. I want to drive a Mark IV at some stage in my life. I think that'll be agreeable. Anyway, that's it really from this little show here at Peter Green and Chandler's Ford in Hampshire. Thank you ever so much indeed once again for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like this video in the comment below, and we shall see you again soon for more incorrect information.